You are listening to Skin, Earth, Vitality, the podcast where ancient wisdom meets modern vitality. If you are seeking to reconnect with your innate vibrancy, you're in the right place. I'm Emily Davis, a seasoned holistic esthetician and herbalist. Join me as we unlock the secrets of ancient skincare practices, explore the beauty of seasonal and nature-based living, herbalism, and true holistic well-being for you and the broader ecosystem. This podcast is brought to you by Stratum Aesthetics. Head to stratumaesthetics.com to find curated skincare, body care, and other wellness products hand-selected by me. Now enjoy the show. Please remember that the information I share in this podcast is based on my personal and professional experience and is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not individualized skincare advice, nor is it medical advice. I encourage you to take charge of your own health decisions and listen to your body, seeking out the resources and professionals that best support your wellness journey. Hello, it is so good to be with you here today. I'm grateful that you're coming to spend time with me. This is the third installment in a mini-series I'm sharing about retinoids from a holistic point of view. Part one was when I talked about retinoids, what they are, what they do on the skin. Part two, I talked about natural alternatives to retinoids, all of the beautiful skincare and topical support. And today I'm talking about my most favorite part of the conversation, which is how diet, lifestyle, herbs, how all of these things can support that renewal that we're trying to get from retinoids. Like, why are we seeking them out in the first place? And looking at the things our body already naturally does when you give it the best support. And this episode is great if you already are using retinoids, because everything I'm going to suggest will just support everything that you're getting from it and help your skin be even better and also tolerate it better. But it's also great if you are like me and you're interested in the benefits that you might obtain from a retinoid, but it's not right for you or right for your skin. So this talk today is just another reminder that skincare is the icing and lifestyle is the cake. Lifestyle is the foundation. It is so tempting to want an easy button to just slather a product on, natural or not, and that's just going to fix your skin. That's going to solve all the problems. But unfortunately, that's not the case. It's about layering everything together. That, in my opinion, is a true holistic way of being. And that's why I named my company Stratum. Stratum means layers. It's the layers of our skin. And in my mind, true wellness, true skin health, with this, nothing ever happens in a vacuum. It's all about the puzzle pieces coming together, right? So with that in mind, I did want to quickly mention the December product of the month. Every month there is going to be a product highlight, and I'll just be sharing a little bit about it here on the podcast, in my weekly newsletter, my Moon Day notes, which if you're not signed up for the newsletter, be sure that you are. That's where it's at. I'll put the sign up in the show notes. But yeah, I'll be doing a product promo because I have an online skincare apothecary, and shopping there is the absolute best way to support the show. So for the month of December, we're going to be highlighting the Tridoshic Balancing Abhyanga oil. It's a body oil. Abhyanga just is like this beautiful ritual of oiling your body, self-massage in the morning to calm and ground. And this oil is the best that I have found. I am obsessed with it. I use it almost every day. What makes this oil really special is the infusion of an Ayurvedic herb called Brahmi, which I love because it nourishes the nervous system. and really just supports a calm focus throughout the day. The aroma of this oil is wild citrus and cardamom with vanilla, lavender, and geranium. I use this in my facials and oh my gosh, it just smells so good. It makes the whole room smell good. It's designed for daily self-massage. And I need to do a whole episode about how Abhyanga changed my life because it really did. It was the first Ayurvedic practice that I really started to do regularly just because it felt amazing. And now I just know if I'm going to have a day that may be stressful or if I'm going to have a day where I don't feel as grounded, I do this in the morning as a self-love practice, as a preparation practice, and I just swear by it. So the Tridoshic body oil is the highlight this month. You can find it on the Stratum Aesthetics website, which I will link in the show notes. And with that, let's get into the show. So we're talking about lifestyle practices, foods, herbs, all the things that can help support what we are trying to get from retinol. So what we're trying to generally get from retinol is, or any type of retinoid, I should say, is smoother texture, fewer bumps, brighter, more even skin tone, maybe support for collagen, faster skin cell turnover, which I talked about last week, refinement, maybe clearing congested skin, clearing out blackheads, softening fine lines. And so these are all of the wonderful things that we can see from retinoids. But as I've talked about in previous weeks, it does come at a cost to your microbiome. It may come at a cost to your skin barrier. And again, I'm just not in the philosophy of wanting to force my skin cells to do something. And so we may see things online that are like, well, just eat vitamin A foods. You can eat your retinol. And that's not quite accurate. Vitamin A does support the skin, but it's not in the way that a topical retinol would or retinoid would. And when you're eating whole food, vitamin A, things like egg yolks, liver, grass-fed dairy, fish, tallow, these are all amazing and we want these. And we are giving our body the usable form of retinol, that retinoic acid. And then even when you're eating carotenoids like carrots and sweet potatoes, squash, leafy greens, these pigments have to be converted into retinol, and they can be converted into retinol on an as needed basis. And this is super important. These are the materials that we need for healthy skin function, like repair and barrier integrity, balanced cell turnover. So you're seeing kind of a similar process as with topical retinoids. But the difference is that a retinoid bypasses the whole system and tells your skin to speed up right there at the surface. And vitamin A foods are touching on some of those same themes, but they're not forcing the skin into a faster exfoliation from the outside. And so for that reason, it's not super accurate to say that or to think that, because one of the biggest deals with retinoids is that they're speeding up skin cell turnover. And so, yes, please eat vitamin A rich foods. We want them. We love them. But I personally wouldn't think of it as like eating your retinoids. And some people do take vitamin A supplementation. I see this on Reddit sometimes when I decide to annoy myself by reading Reddit comments. But people think that they're helping their skin with vitamin A supplementation. But in reality, your body only needs very tiny amounts of vitamin A, and food gives it to you in a very safe, balanced form. Supplements are extremely concentrated, and this is not a more is better kind of thing. They don't really translate in the way that food does. And today we're going to be talking about things from an inner ecology standpoint. And from that lens, I'm always more interested in how well I'm digesting and absorbing and utilizing my food, not how many isolated nutrients I can fit into the palm of my hand and take as a pill. You can take all kinds of different supplements, but if your terrain is depleted and stressed and sluggish, it's not going to necessarily translate into better skin. And so today I want to flip that script a little bit. And the way that I used to think about skin was pretty much the way that many of us were taught, which is like, if you just eat this or take that supplement or use this product, then your skin will improve. And that made a lot of sense to me in the past. And it's not that that's wrong at all, but at the same time, I've been evolving quite a bit recently, and my philosophy on skin has been evolving past like checklist energy into really seeing it as an ecosystem that reflects deeper patterns within our body. So today, rather than talking about like eat this for that, or this is how you biohack your skin into being good, I came up with 5 pillars that support the inner ecology of your body and your skin to see the type of results that we're going after when we are looking to purchase a retinoid serum. And when I say inner ecology, I just mean the environment that's inside your body. So the nourishment, the hydration, what's going on with the tissue, the nervous system, the warmth or the coldness of different parts of your body. Your skin's always reflecting what's happening in that inner environment. And these are not rules or diets or like protocols to follow. These are just 5 qualities from more of an herbalist standpoint or a vitalist standpoint that when they're supported, it's going to make your skin function better and look better. So the first one, I'm going to just call them pillars. So the first pillar is moisture. And so many things that we think of as aging, like texture or fine lines or dullness, are actually dryness within our skin and maybe deep within our body. I had a teacher once that said, you don't age, you dry out. And dryness creates things like texture, those fine lines, more tired looking skin, a slower skin cell turnover, irritation, an impaired barrier, which, gosh, I wonder how many times I've said the word barrier on this podcast, probably a lot. And this pillar is really about the inner moisture, the juiciness inside your body. And there's actually this gorgeous word for this quality in a lot of traditional medicine systems, which is called unctuousness. And this means just like the inner moisture, the lubrication, nourishment, that juiciness that keeps all of your tissues supple. And so this is the retinoid adjacent action of like softening the skin and also supporting cell turnover, but from the inside. So what unctuousness looks like on the skin is just very soft, smooth texture with fewer fine lines, especially those little crinkly lines that look kind of etched or like papery. Unctuousness is going to go in and plump beneath the skin and give a bouncy feeling to your skin. And because of this, makeup sits better, it blends more smoothly, it doesn't look patchy or settled into fine lines. Unctuousness in the skin also looks like more refined pores, because when we have a lot of dryness happening, and I don't mean just dry skin, like our skin and our body are not separate. And if our skin is dry, there's going to be dryness happening within the body. And so this dryness can translate into more visible pores, making them look more like puckered, like orange peel texture almost. When we have more unctuousness, pores are going to look smoother and less pronounced and just a more even skin surface. And we'll also see just like this glow on the skin, and not like oily. Unctuousness is not oiliness, but it's like just plush and hydrated and healthy without being shiny. And I've talked in the past about how we do not need to look at wrinkles and feel like we've failed or like our skin needs to be fixed in with something like retinol, right? But also at the same time, when we see wrinkles, they are messages from the body. And our body will naturally have wrinkles as we age and move through the world. And that's okay. They are not a flaw. They're a texture of a life lived. And sometimes they're simply a sign that the body needs some more moisture and nourishment on the inside. Our body is always sending us messages through our skin. And when we see low unctuousness on the skin, that papery texture, those very tiny fine lines, the skin is simply reflecting what's going on in the rest of the body. And it usually just means that the body is probably using more moisture and nourishment than it's getting in. So you might be a little depleted, a little dried out, a little undernourished, or moving through a season of life that has more output than input. So maybe low unctuousness in the body feels like you're stretched a little thin. Or maybe you have dry digestion that can look like dry stool, infrequent stools, difficult to pass. Or maybe your digestion just feels very slow. Or dry digestion can also be like very sharp gas, maybe a dry mouth, dry throat, constantly needing water when you're eating. So that's what dry digestion looks like and can be a result of low unctuousness. Maybe dry emotions. Maybe you're feeling really brittle or frayed. Maybe you're feeling stressed. Stress dries people out both physically and energetically. And so this low unctuous state, if you find yourself there and you're seeing it in your skin, it's going to call for warm, moist, nourishing foods, healthy fats like oil and ghee and broths, and things that are more soothing and more grounding. I'm a big fan of a warm chia seed pudding in the morning. Moon milk. Oh, I love moon milk. And I have a really lovely rose and pearl powder moon milk recipe on my blog that I will link. Like I said, broths, especially homemade broths and stock. Meat stock is amazing. Ghee or tahini over roasted veggies, especially roasted root veggies. Oats. Make sure that the oats were soaked overnight or for several hours and then rinsed and strained and then cooked. Stewed fruits. Oh my gosh, stewed pears for breakfast, especially in the fall and winter. Congee is a favorite go-to for me, which is rice soaked again overnight or for several hours and then strained and rinsed. And then you cook about 1 cup of rice to 6 cups of water on simmer for about 45 minutes. And it makes this just beautiful, silky, soft, and comforting rice porridge that can be eaten with all kinds of different toppings. Congee is fantastic for supporting unctuousness. Herbal infusions like marshmallow, linden, plantain leaf, licorice root, violet leaf. These are all beautiful examples of foods and herbs that bring in that soft, moist, nourishing, unctuous quality. So moving on to the second pillar, which is circulation. And have you ever noticed how your skin looks warmer and brighter and more alive after you go for a walk, especially a walk outside, or after taking a shower, or even when you've just been like laughing a lot? your skin just looks so good. And that's all because of circulation. Warmth and circulation, so better blood flow, bring a brighter tone. Your skin's more even color. There's just more color in general. It looks more alive. It's going to provide collagen nourishment. Again, faster cell turnover, more movement in stagnant areas, and less dullness in your skin. And when we have low microcirculation, the skin does look very dull and flat and almost like grayed out. And our lines look deeper. We tend to have more bumps, more texture, more congestion and clogged pores. Skin's slow to heal. Maybe breakouts don't heal very quickly. And when they do, there's marks that stick around for a really long time. And when we see this pattern in our body, it looks like stress or sitting too much or shallow breathing. Again, maybe digestion is slower, maybe feeling a little depleted or cold energetically, maybe not feeling as much life force, maybe, low inspiration, low motivation. This can all point to a lack of circulation. Bringing in more warmth and circulation is like the retinoid counterpoint of giving us brighter tone, collagen support, faster turnover, because our skin can't renew if everything is cold and stagnant and constricted. So this is just such a nice contrast to retinol's forced stimulation, like we're going in and actually giving real stimulation. And ways to do this to invite a little more warmth and movement into your inner ecology include things, of course, I'm going to start with face massage, especially gua sha and facial cupping. Gua sha, I think, gets talked about as like a lymphatic mover, which does do indirectly by opening up pathways. But it itself is not like a manual lymphatic drainage. What gua sha does is it increases circulation. That's the whole point, is it's bringing in blood flow and life force into the tissue. And facial cupping is going to do the same thing. It's really moving that blood flow around. Regular movement and exercise. I'm a big fan of a daily, very long walk outside or multiple long walks outside, but also like cardio is really good for getting circulation moving, spinning, riding your bike, swimming, doing intentional breath work, sauna, warm magnesium baths. And although this is not a magnesium, I do just have to say the best bath salts in the world are the CBD bath salts from this company called Cosmetic. They are local here in Denver and I'm obsessed with them. They make your bathroom smell like a spa. They're so good. It would make a wonderful Christmas gift, I feel like. Also castor oil packs, warm foot baths, a warm water bottle over your belly, warm tea with herbs like ginger, tulsi, cinnamon, warm morning rituals like warm water with lemon and a little sea salt. And warmth is not just physical temperature, it's also emotional circulation. So think of things like reading something joyful and comforting, gratitude journaling, spending more time with people who you love, or even calling someone on the phone. Things like cuddling, singing, anything that brings warmth, flow, or life into your body is going to show up on your skin. And that brings me to pillar 3, which is clearing stagnation, because a lot of things we're trying to fix on the surface, like bumps or congestion, dullness, these are all signs of stagnation in the body. And stagnation is basically when things aren't moving. We've got digestion slowing down, circulation slows down, and our skin, of course, is going to show that. So instead of feeling fresh and bright, the skin starts to feel and look just a little stuck. You know what I mean? And this looks like congestion that just will not budge, or like coarse or thickened looking skin. Just feeling like your skin is holding on to things. And stagnation also often comes from sitting too much, stress, low warmth in your life, not enough movement, maybe some emotional stuckness. And the last pillar was about getting things moving. And this one is all about clearing it out. So in your body, maybe this looks like bloating or heaviness after eating. I often will feel this with clients feeling very puffy around the jaw or under the chin. It can almost feel gelatinous. Fluid retention, again, feeling stuck emotionally or resistant to change, maybe feeling cold often, or irritability, dull headaches, maybe PMS moodiness because the liver is not moving our hormones through properly. And so some great ways to support clearing stagnation within the skin include movement. I especially love flowy movements for this, like swimming, yoga, dancing, walking. Facial massage is amazing here as well. I would lean more towards like lymphatic drainage. I'm a big fan of the lymph brush, which I also carry on my online website. So the lymph brush is a patented, very specific brush made by my gua sha teacher, Cecily Braden, and it just makes manual lymphatic drainage a little easier. And so I love, love, love that brush here. I use it in almost every facial. Rebounding on like a little rebounder trampoline, legs up the wall, even things like journaling to go in and unstick a feeling, eating warm breakfasts, sipping hot water throughout the day, spicing your meals to help warm and move digestion with things like ginger and fennel, cumin. There's a beautiful Ayurvedic tea called CCF. So it's cumin, coriander, and fennel. And you simmer the seeds for, 20 to 40 minutes-ish. You make a decoction basically, and then you strain those and you sip the tea. And it is so good for getting some unstuckness happening in your digestion, just supporting that digestive fire. Herbs that encourage movement of stagnation like calendula, nettle, burdock, cleavers. Also bitter herbs like orange peel and dandelion, gentian root. Bitter foods. I love radicchio, doing like a little warm salad with radicchio. Bitter melon is another amazing bitter food. Again, here we can look at warm baths and castor oil packs. Even things like opening the windows in your house every day and clearing out clutter, cleaning those dusty corners to move stuck energy out. Who knew you'd be listening to an esthetician telling you that dusting your house is good for your skin, but I'm telling you, it is all connected. So once we've got things moving again, once there's warmth and circulation and you've cleared out some of that stagnation, your skin becomes ready for some deeper nourishment. And that's pillar 4, thinking about what we are feeding our tissue. What are we building our skin from? Deeply nourished skin that has been made from hardy, beautiful building blocks is going to look plump and soft. It's going to be more elastic and bouncy with fewer fine lines and a stronger barrier and more resilience. It's going to be quicker to repair, and we're going to have more even tone and less irritation. So this is the internal version of retinol's collagen boost, basically. This is so juicy. We've got pillar 1, which was unctuousness. That's about the moisture and the oil. Pillar 4 is about the structure and the substance. So when we look at our skin and we see a lack of nourishment, that may look like our skin is overreactive in dry weather. Maybe it looks pale or washed out. Maybe lips are looking less full than they did before, less pink. Maybe post-inflammatory marks after a breakout just take ages to fade. Or we've got flaky spots that just keep returning. The skin's very easily irritated or rashy, especially people prone to dermatitis and eczema, any type of impaired barrier. It could be a sign of a lack of internal nourishment. It doesn't have enough nourishment to hold its boundaries. And as far as the wider terrain, a lack of deep nourishment in the tissues, gosh, as I'm saying all of these, I'm like, wow, I've been there. But like brittle nails, hair that's shedding really easily, like you're washing your hair in the shower and you're just getting clumps of hair falling out. You know, maybe this person is experiencing inconsistent eating or lots of skipping meals, feeling wired but tired, and long periods of stress, which can lead to poor sleep and just feeling drained and depleted. I think of somebody with like a go, go, go type of identity and just struggling to know how to rest. But when your body is nourished, your skin is nourished. And so we can do this through foods that feel grounding. I know that when I'm in that go, go, go state, if I just take a little bit of time, which can feel very difficult, but it is worth it, to pre-plan how I'm going to have my meal for the next day and make sure that I'm getting warm, grounding foods, soups and stews that have both protein and veggies, like roasted root vegetables, maybe slow cooked meats and bone broth, lentils, of course, high quality fats. And a part of deep nourishment isn't just what we're eating, it's whether our body can actually receive it. And in herbalism and in practices like Ayurveda and Chinese medicine, this is all about digestion and assimilation, because you can eat the most nutrient-rich food in the world, but if your system is tired and stressed and overwhelmed and cold, those nutrients don't really get delivered to the deeper tissues like our skin. And so when I talk about nourishment, I'm also talking about making it easier for your body to take in what you're giving it. And the best way to do that is with warm, regular meals eaten at the same time every day and not skipping meals. We also think of replenishing herbs like nettle, oat straw, rosehip, alfalfa. These are all what are called nutritive herbs, and it's just such a fantastic category that fits this archetype perfectly. And then as far as lifestyle goes, making sure that you're getting sleep. Deep nourishment comes from sleep, slowing down, letting yourself rest, saying no when you need to, giving yourself that energetic nourishment. And I say all of this, especially in this pillar, with so much love, because as a girl who is very eczema, dermatitis prone, I have been here many times and I have healed my skin with these types of lifestyle adjustments. And I know that it can be really hard, but it's also so worth it and such a beautiful act of self-love. So pillar 5 is nervous system harmony. Your nervous system sets the tone for the whole terrain here. If you're not living in a place where your nervous system is in harmony, it might show up on the skin like red, sensitive skin that gets more rashy or reactive, especially out of seemingly nowhere. Maybe products feel really stingy. Perhaps more inflammation when life gets more chaotic, especially if there's like work pressure or you're traveling or if there's family drama happening. Your skin might start to react to those things. You might also see slower healing, breakouts that heal slower, puffiness, especially again when life gets extra stressful. But outside of the skin, this might look like a lot of jaw clenching and shallow breathing, maybe irregular digestion with loose stools this time, perhaps difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, temperature swings, maybe feeling overstimulated or just like feeling always on, you know what I mean? Feeling responsible for everything, or maybe just like a constant low grade anxiety. And maybe this comes along with distracted eating or scrolling to just like totally numb out, or maybe just not feeling like you're able to really exhale. And so if this sounds familiar, some ways to support nervous system harmony look like slowing your pace down. I talk about this so often, but I love the idea of creating buffers. Thinking about this every day, like this idea of buffers, how can I create a buffer for myself, has truly changed my life. That means giving yourself the gift of leaving early, prepping things ahead of time, pausing between tasks. You know, for me, it looks like making sure I have a lot of time in between clients, but it also looks like, okay, after I record this podcast episode, I might go do a yoga nidra. I cannot believe how much this actually changes the way that my nervous system reacts to things. Also, things like engineering soft mornings for yourself, focusing on sensory comforts. So dim, warm lights after the sun goes down, oiling your body like I talked about with the Abhyanga earlier, warm socks. This is a favorite for me because I cannot tell you how just noticing when I'm feeling a little bit spun up and then making sure to put some oil or balm or like a body butter on my feet and then covering them with warm socks before I go to sleep is the best anxiety soother ever. Like, I don't know why people aren't talking about this more, but socks are where it's at. As far as herbs go, I love a category of herbs called nervines. These are herbs that support the nervous system tissues. So things like chamomile, tulsi, linden, my sweet little linden, skullcap, rose, passion flower, a milky oat tincture. And then foods, again, warm, predictable nourishment. The nervous system loves rhythm and predictability. So eating at the same time every day. Things like warm, soft foods, congee, broth, roasted root vegetables. Also some small body shifts like sighing. I've talked about the physiological sigh, which is a breathing technique that consists of 2 inhales through the nose, followed by a long, slow exhale. So wherever you are right now, I want you to do that. So 2 inhales, followed by a long exhale. Do that a couple more times and just notice how you feel. Notice your belly. Notice how you feel in your heart. It's so good. Also, things like noticing when you're clenching your jaw or trying to notice when you're clenching your jaw. Unfurling your shoulders. things like this novel idea of letting yourself rest. For me, that looks like scheduling in rest. I have a day every month that I try to stick to called Moon Day, which I need to do another episode. I have one already, but I need to do an update probably around the winter solstice, talking about Moon Day and how it's a day that I schedule every single month where I am not allowed to do any work. I'm not allowed to clean. I'm only allowed to do things for pleasure. And there's absolutely no screens or media allowed. And it is so good. I always resist it. And then when I'm done, I feel like it has just been the greatest weight taken off of my shoulders. So I'll do another episode. There is one that I've already recorded. I think, it's been quite a while since I recorded that last one. So we need an update. And then finally, just like practicing receiving support and recognizing your limits. These are all nourishment for your nervous system. And this pillar mirrors what retinol does for cell renewal and reduction of inflammation and skin repair, also strengthening the barrier and balancing oil production, and doing this all, of course, without force from the inside out. So those are my 5 pillars. We've been taught that we need to rely on serums and things like retinoids to make our skin repair and renew and be bright and smooth. But our body already holds these mechanisms inside of it. It just needs the right conditions. And this is the feminine way of caring for our skin, supporting that terrain and not pushing the tissue. And I know that I shared a lot with you today, but none of it is a to-do list. It's just some ideas of gentle places that you can support yourself, because your skin is always going to show you where to go next, what your body needs next if you listen. That's what I have for you today. I hope that it helps you relax into your skin a little bit more and maybe trust your body a little bit more. With that, I will be back next time, and until then, be well. You've been listening to Skin, Earth, Vitality. If you like what you heard today, consider giving me a 5-star rating. It helps other people just like you to find the show. You can shop products and find all of my offerings on my website, stratumaesthetics.com, and follow me on my social channels @stratumaesthetics.